Hello friends, today we'll start bounded sequence. Let's see what is bounded sequence. Bounded sequences. Bounded sequences क्या होता है? Let us see. Definition बोलते हैं पहले इसकी. Definition क्या चीज़ है? A sequence En is bounded is said to be bounded above is said to be bounded above if there exists a real number a real number k such that an is less than equal to k for all n. Similarly, a sequence an is said to be bounded below is said to be bounded below if there exists a real number k such that a is greater than equal to let it be some different. इसको थोड़ा डिफरेंट लेके चलते हैं हम लोग. H such that h greater than equal to h for all n. So we say that sequence is said to be bounded above if this is every term is less than equal to k is bounded below if it's called bounded below if every element a n is greater than equal to h for all n. Here k and h are called least upper bound and greatest lower bound of the sequence an respectively. That is k क्या हो जाएगा आपके पास लीस्ट अपर बाउंड हो जाएगा एंड h क्या होगा आपके पास ग्रेटेस्ट लोअर बाउंड हो जाएगा. Now we will define the boundedness. Now an is said to be bounded We talked about bounded above, we talked about bounded below. Now we are talking about bounded if it is bounded above as well as bounded below. अगर ये bounded above हो bounded below भी हो, we say that this is a bounded sequence. In other words an is said to be bounded if is said to be bounded sequence if there exist real numbers h and k such that h is less than equal to an less than equal to k for all n belongs to n. If this condition happens, then we say that this is bounded. Here again the same thing, this is called least upper bound, greatest lower bound. This is called greatest lower bound. Let me properly write. This is called greatest lower bound, this is called least upper bound, right? This is what it is called. So this is all about bounded sequence. Let us take an example. Let's understand by an example. Let an where an is equal to 1 by n be a sequence then we shall show that show that an is bounded. Now an is what? an किस क्या वैल्यू है an की? यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी करेक्शन कर लेना, ये ब्रैकेट्स, दिस इज नॉट ए सीक्वेंस, दिस इज एंटर. So we are writing an is equal to 1 by n. So we know that for all n, we know that we know that n is always greater than or equal to 1, because this is a natural number, so our natural number is always greater than 1. This means what? This means 1 by n is less than or equal to 1. 1 by n is always less than or equal to 1. So also n is always greater than 0, always greater than 0, and this implies 1 by n is also greater than 0. This implies that combining this इन दोनों को combine कर लीजिए. This means what? 0 less than 1 by n less than 1. So what we are getting? We are getting 0 less than 1 by n less than 1 for all n. This means that 0 less than an less than 1 for all n. This means that 0 is least upper bound, greatest lower bound, 1 is least upper bound. So this means that this sequence, this means this implies the sequence an is bounded sequence. So this is how we do this, a bounded sequence, right? Now let us say something about unbounded sequence. What does mean? What does some more? Let's have some more deeper thought about this boundedness. So note के लिए there is a note. Write the note here. A sequence is bounded. A sequence is bounded above if its range is bounded. One more thing. This is another definition. One thing. Second, a sequence is bounded below if its range is bounded above. Range is set na? Range is bounded. Range is bounded. This is bounded above. This is bounded below. So third, हम लोग कह सकते हैं इसे, a sequence is bounded if its range is bounded. Simply bounded. So this is very important point here. One more thing, one more note. One more note. If a sequence an is bounded, a sequence an which is bounded implies its range is also bounded. Range is bounded. Now the least upper bound of an is equal to the least upper bound of the range set of the sequence. Similarly, greatest lower bound of an sequence is equal to greatest lower bound of the range set range set of an. So we can say that the least upper bound of sequence and the greatest lower bound of sequence is nothing but the least upper bound and greatest lower bound of the range set. तो जो रेंज सेट होगा उसी के हिसाब से हम लोग इसको भी आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं. So let us define an unbounded set. What does mean unbounded set? Unbounded set. Unbounded set. Unbound, not set. This is sequence. We are talking about sequences. So we will concentrate ourselves on sequences. So a sequence an is said to be unbounded sequence sequence if given delta greater than 0, however large, जितना बड़ा मर्जी ले लो, however large, there exists m belongs to n such that mod of an is always greater than delta for infinitely many terms, that is for all n greater than equal to n. If this condition holds, then we say that the sequence is unbounded sequence. It can be said unbounded above or unbounded below depending on the situation, because we always write an, we can write minus delta less than delta. So depending on the situation, which situation you want to take, this one or this one, this is going to be or sorry, this is different entity. Depending on the situation, this is like greater than this is greater than, in fact. So this is not less than, this is greater than. Okay. So depending on this situation, we can say that sequence is bounded and unbounded. Let us talk something more about. Let us explain by example. Example. Take a sequence. Sequence an where an is equal to n square. Let it be. It can be taken to be n also. So this is also working. So now an sequence किस तरह से दिखेगा आपको? इसको आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो, 1 का स्क्वायर, 2 का स्क्वायर, 3 का स्क्वायर, 4 का स्क्वायर, and so on. Okay, this way you can write this. Now we know that an is always greater than equal to 1 for all n. One thing, this means that this is not bounded, implies an is not bounded above. Whatever you want to take is not bounded above. Moreover, if you are not satisfied with this, we can do a little more practice here. Also, let's write something else. Let it move to be not bounded. Let it make it not bounded first. Now we know that also we cannot find a real number k such that an is less than k. This means what? One side this is greater than 1, and we can find a real number such that this happens for all n. This means that an is not bounded. One thing, not bounded, and an is greater than 1. This means that and has no least upper bound. And this means what? An is unbounded above. This is unbounded above. And this means what? This means an is unbounded. So one and the same thing, whether it is bounded above or unbounded below, this is going to give you unbounded. Similar example we can take. We can talk about unbounded below also. Take an example. Example 2. Take a sequence. Take a sequence an. Take a sequence an where an is equal to minus n. Let us take this for all n belongs to n. Right? This is what it is. Now, obviously, an sequence कैसा होगा? Yes, will be there is -1 here, -2 here, -3 here, and so on. So this is what we are getting. This is what we are getting. Clearly, an is less than equal to 0. This is less than is equal to 0. This means that an is bounded above. Bounded above. Okay, for all n. Basically, for all n, over the bounded above. Also, but we cannot find a real number h such that we cannot find real number h such that h is less than equal to an. ऐसा कभी भी फाइंड नहीं कर पाएंगे हम लोग. कुछ भी फाइंड करेंगे एक छोटा उससे मिल जाएगा आपको. So this means that an is not bounded below. This means that an is not on the one side. This is not bounded below. So this means that it is not. So it is unbounded below, and this is further implies that an is unbound. So we can say a sequence which is unbounded below or unbounded above. So this is a unbounded sequence, right? So this is how we can take how we can say a sequence is a bounded sequence or unbounded sequence. So thank you. Please add your suggestions if any.